I think we've done this before, have we
done
not?
this before.
Your show, my show?
We had real drinks on my show.
Yes, we did, didn't we? But they didn't see that. Did you?
But it was I had a real drink when I did your show. We were like late in the afternoon, but you guys weren't. You had work to do.
They all kind of become a blur.
Yeah.
You know, alcohol, no alcohol.
How many shows do you have now?
Hitting 200, I think.
Wow.
I know.
That's a lot of production right there.
Isn't it?
You're going to keep it rolling?
Yep.
You're running out of people?
Nope. No, never running out of people. Are you running out of people?
But I only want to do the podcast if somebody's sitting across from me. I don't want to talk to them online or on the phone.
And see, I like it the other way. I like to do it online because I find that people spill their guts more.
Yeah.
If you do it online, I find that.
I feel like I can't talk to you unless I'm looking you in the eyes. I feel like there's a disconnect there that I want to close.
Yeah, I get that. But that, it's how.
But if I look you in the eye while you give me an answer, it's like way more likely that you're telling me the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. How many have you done now?
I just did 1 over 90 this week. Yeah. I want to keep it going. I really enjoy it. It's my favorite therapist.
Yeah, me too.
And then I don't bother my wife or bother other people with my problems. I just talk about them to thousands of people and then walk away.
Yeah, let me talk about me some more. Let me talk about me and let me talk about me some more.
It's like the perfect ego-feeding therapist.
But it's live and it's real and I like that.
Yeah.
Ours is not live, but...
I've edited twice, and it was when somebody I spoke to called me back and said, you know what, maybe take that out, maybe take that. And I do it because I don't want to.
Yeah.
But I've never taken out anything I've said.
Well, it's your show.
Let me ask you one of these questions.
Oh, no.
This is a long question. There's a long answer here. How did you, keep it short, keep it brief.
Keep it short, okay.
How did you get started? What made you want to be an opera singer? 2 sentences.
How did I get started? Karen Carpenter record.
Yes.
My mom bought me a record player.
Oh, God, I love that voice.
Karen Carpenter inspiration turned into church choir.
Yeah.
Turned into seeing Placido Domingo on TV.
And
what made you want to be an opera singer? Placido Domingo.
You heard Placido and you said, I want to be a part
on TV.
Of this.
Pointed to the TV, said to Mom, I want to do this. She's like, yeah, honey, yeah. No, really. And you?
And then you're singing with him. Like that's like you did that. Yeah.
My 30th birthday. I'm old. My 30th birthday, he sang Happy Birthday to me because we started rehearsals for Cyrano de Bergerac.
He sang Happy Birthday to you.
35th, sorry. Yeah.
Did you tell him, have you told him the story where you pointed at the television and said, I want to do that?
I did.
I feel like a lot of people have probably told him that story.
Yeah.
They're not all Sondra, but I'm sure he's met singers throughout his career who were just like, I sing because of you.
He loved it, but he really hated it because he felt like I'm old now.
It made him old.
But I said,
when I was a little girl, I saw you as a grown man.
Like, oh, I was 14, and he's like, yeah, thanks. But also, it was for me, like my life dream was singing a lead role on the stage of the Metropolitan Opera with Placido Domingo. And I hit that goal at 35. I'm like, what do I do
downhill
now?
Ever since.
And that's what I said to him. I'm like, and what do I do now? And he goes, Sondra, you need another dream. So do I ask you the same thing? How did you get started and what made you want to be an opera singer?
I was an athlete in school and I broke my knee. I tore my ligament in my knee and I had major surgery and that was the end of sports.
So you're like, let's be a music geek.
There was a cute girl and she said, hey, come to the drama club, we need boys. And I was like, nothing else going on. So I hobbled over there in a cast and there was like 70 girls in the room and 3 guys. And all of a sudden I was like,
Cha-ching.
this is so smart. This is so smart.
Cha-ching.
And I knew I could sing because I was in the church choir as a kid too.
Okay.
And then once I experienced like the musical where I was so important because there were only 3 guys to choose from. I had to be important in the show. Once you like get a taste of that, I was hooked forever. I was never going to let that go.
Okay, but that's not something to sustain a career. Like
No.
You must have loved it.
Once I experienced putting a show together from beginning to end, from nothing to audience, I was completely addicted to this process. I wasn't looking for the audience. I'm not looking for the applause. I don't need people to applaud at me, although it's nice. What I like is the process. The rehearsals are where I enjoy this the most.
You're a bit of a stage animal too.
Yeah. You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
It's because I'm 6'4".
Yeah, it's like, wait, where's Christian? There he is. Yep. All right. I'm not going to take from the top of the pile because you know what? That's a bit.
The naughty questions are in the middle.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought. Maybe. What do you enjoy about Chicago or Lyric in particular?
This is my 17th year in Chicago. I made my debut when I was a boy, singing The King in Aida. Chicago is built for somebody my size. I love New York. I live in New York. I work in New York. But I'm in somebody's way, whether I'm walking, whether I'm trying to sit down, whether I'm trying to get a reservation, anything I'm doing, I'm not going fast enough or I'm in somebody's way. Chicago is as big as New York, but it's spread out.
Yeah.
There's a cab, there's an Uber waiting for you,
Yeah.
there's a reservation, you're not in anybody's way. Chicago's built for large humans, and I love that.
Big tall.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go.
You? Chicago? How many years now?
I was born here.
That's right.
So Chicago is my hometown.
Yeah.
I was born not too many miles from here in Berwyn, Cicero area. And
Anybody who lives within 90 miles of Chicago says, I'm from Chicago, because it's just easier than saying Downers Grove or Homewood.
St. Charles.
Yeah, right.
That's for Mom.
Right.
Yeah, but the Lyric, boy, I can't even remember the year. 2002 was my debut.
Okay, yeah, right
Susanna.
Before me. Oh, with Sam?
With Sam Raimi.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Not
hello.
bad. Not a bad debut.
Not a bad debut. And it's just, I can't even tell you how many productions I've done now. 7, 8,
Yeah.
9? A lot.
Somebody told me I've done 18 roles here. But I was a young artist, so the first 8 were in 2 years.
Okay.
You know?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know what I like about it? I like okay, I'm a hometown girl. This is my city, born and raised here, but I like the feeling of the Opera House.
Yeah.
It just feels like
It's a
everybody's
family here.
family.
Yeah, it's a family here.
And it's just
not like that
such a
everywhere.
great- No. You know, everybody knows your name. You walk in and from the top to the bottom.
Yeah.
You're treated. We treat everyone equally as well.
Yeah.
But you know, you're greeted by Anthony Freud. You know,
I know
and
half the
Steve-
crew guys here. I've known the
Yeah.
chorus. I know all these guys in the chorus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not always like this everywhere.
No,
There's some separation, but Lyric always felt like family.
it's super cool.
Yeah.
So,
This pile. I'm going deep.
you're going deep?
Do you have a favorite Lyric memory or moment on stage or off? You better stick to on stage.
So many. PG rated. There's just so many.
It's hard, right?
Yeah.
Did you have a particular show that just sticks out for you? Like, wow, that was one that I'll never let go of.
You know what? I've had a lot of interesting things. Maybe I won't say favorite, but let's go with interesting.
Yeah.
I have sung a performance here with Walking Pneumonia, Il Trovatore.
Just giving it to the whole cast, spraying the whole cast.
And literally did not know how I was going to finish that performance.
Fever on stage, that kind of thing. I'm just delirious.
Delirious. How I sang.
It's such a mistake. I've done this too. Why do we force ourselves to do the show? I can't let it go. I'm going to be fine. 3 hours from now, I'm still going to be alive.
You know
whatever
why?
happens, happens.
You don't want to disappoint those people. Those
Yeah,
people that
but
paid
if you
a lot of
sound
money.
terrible or you look terrible, you feel terrible.
But you know what I've learned in this so many years in my career? There's probably about 5% of the audience out there that really knows that something's not quite right.
Right. Yes. Right. And the rest of the people pay to see the Queen, and they need the Queen tonight. Yeah.
And that was the other one. When I did it Anna Bolena here, the very last show, I was so sick. And you know that point where you can take so many drugs to get through a show, and you won't hurt yourself, but then there's that tipping point where you're like, if I take any more...
If they put cortisone in my neck one more time.
So my cover, Tracy Canton, who was a young artist here too, she was all suited up and ready to go, and Anthony Freud was standing in the wings, and
this was COC?
No, this was here.
Okay.
Yeah. She was also my
she
cover
covered
at
you.
COC.
That's it. Yeah.
And poor girl had to step in at Al Dolce Guidami, like that scene. Poor thing, because I went like this to Anthony Freud. I'm like, I'm done.
You're done. Yeah.
I'm done. It was like the scene right before that.
You know when your voice is quit. Like, it's not going to, I'm swollen enough, this is not going to happen tonight.
Yeah. And you know, the drugs were starting to wear off, and I was just like,
Yeah.
But I think my Best, worst was I was singing Trovatore in San Francisco right before I came here to sing Ernani with Salvatore Lacidra, God bless his soul. And
That was sweet.
another tenor, we won't mention his name, fell on my right foot. And in conjunction with being robbed, and I had a right leg in a cast. And I had to sing Ernani with my leg in a cast on a stage about like that.
Right. Put her on a rake, for sure. But that's opera, isn't it? There's 1,000 things getting between you, trying to get between you and just singing to the audience, and you have to like press on through that.
And as a singer, you have to keep your center of gravity to get your support.
I need to feel my feet. I need to feel them on the ground.
Right.
Singing
so
sitting down is a totally different thing.
Singing like this on a rake, which is more like that.
Tilting.
So what's your favorite memory or favorite moment on stage? We're going to keep
on stage. On stage here.
Or off stage, I mean.
I had I have memorable when I was a young artist, there was like these moments where you can't believe what's happening. I sat between Sam Raimi and Neil Shikoff as I was covering Angelotti.
Covering.
And I was covering, and I sang the musical run through, and it was Bruno Bartoletti conducting, and he had my number. He had my number from the get-go, and it's a long, drawn-out story. But before that part, which is not great, because he really zeroed in on me quickly, just thought, I'm sitting between Neil Shikoff and Sam Raimi right now, and I was 24, and my hero and one of the greatest ever, and we're like, wow, we're gonna do this. Like I'm
okay. I'm not worthy.
Bruno definitely didn't think I was worthy. But yeah, I kept. I mean, you keep those moments. Those are really important.
I got another one.
Yeah.
Favorite moment. Susanna.
Yeah.
Julius Burdell conducting.
Yeah.
I mean, the man who conducted the premiere of the opera was conducting it, and then I met the composer.
Yeah.
Like Carlisle Floyd, and he said to me, "Your voice is the voice that I really wanted."
Oh.
I'm like, okay, thank you. All right, I'm going way deep.
Oof. That doesn't mean they get better.
I know, it's true. Ooh.
Come on, I'm ready. I can handle it.
What have you learned about yourself or this art form throughout the pandemic?
Learned about myself?
Yeah,
I definitely
or the art form.
I definitely learned that I'm a singer. And
well, that's a big lesson to learn.
Well, because you think, I'll just go home and I'll just be that version of me. But it wasn't long before I felt like I really needed to do this again. Mm-hmm. And what I learned about the art form is that we're not meant to be online only. Without the audience, this is done.
Oy.
We need the theater. I need the excitement, the electricity that exists between the proscenium and the audience.
Live theater.
Nothing is better for me. Not as a performer, as a viewer, as a fan. I need the live show. Because you sound fantastic in a recording. You don't sound fantastic in a live stream. There's quality lost.
Well, you know what I always tell people, and I don't think people realize this, that sound is compressed.
Yeah.
When we record things, even this,
Yeah.
that sound has to go through, that computer.
Yeah.
And then it's spit out. So it loses all of these
Brilliance.
extremes.
It loses all the little resonances.
And what you're getting is this, not this.
Yeah.
And it's just not the same feeling. Having the sound of the human voice, like a big voice like yours, just hit you in the chest and
It's a totally different experience. Yeah.
feeling that.
No,
live.
I know it. That's what I learned.
But you have a podcast now.
I had to use my voice. That was my outlet. I wanted to use my voice and feel connected.
CVH podcast.
And that came through. Thanks for that plug, CVH podcast. That came from the pandemic. That was my need to feel connected to the audience and use my voice and stop complaining to everyone else. I was just going to put it into this little half hour and get rid of it. And
therapy.
Yeah, it was therapy for me. I don't think I'll ever not do it. I love it.
That's cool. And you learned something about yourself too.
I learned that I need to do this for a living. It's more than just what I do. It's a lot of who I am.
That's big.
People don't like to say that. People like to run from that. This is just what I do. It's not who I am. I don't know that you make it to this place, to this house, to this level without it really taking over a lot of what you are.
And can you separate the two, really? See, I think the two are, for me, are so intertwined.
It's hard to turn off, isn't it?
Yeah, and
When you go home and Duncan doesn't just like hop to it like everyone around you, you're just like,
oh, Miss Radvanovsky. He's like, yeah, no, I'm sorry, you're Sondra Lear. You're not Radvanovsky.
and where's dinner?
No, but it's, I think all great artists bring a part of themselves into what they do on stage.
Yeah.
As well as off stage. And I think the two are so
The life
intertwined.
experiences that I've had, whether it's a joyous occasion or a broken heart or just tragedy, whatever you've gone through, these are the things that we tap into to bring your performance out on stage, and in a way you relive them and share them. It's very personal. It's incredibly personal.
Absolutely. But I don't think people always realize that.
Yeah, right.
And how it affects the voice too.
Yeah, I think early on I was a very timid actor because I hadn't lived life yet. I really hadn't experienced the highs and lows of all this. And so when I go back and I listen to things, I go, that was dramatically uninspired. You were just singing notes, and I couldn't necessarily relate to the 80-year-old man whose wife doesn't love him. I didn't. I didn't understand that at 25 years old.
Well, you get those too, being a bass-baritone.
It was all old men.
You get the old guys.
I wore a gray beard for the first 10 years of my career. Now they don't need to. They just leave mine.
I remember that. Like somebody said to me once when I was working on Tosca for the first time, the aria, and they said, "You don't have enough life experience to do this yet."
A little bit. It's
I'm
something.
like,
You're right.
"Oh, we need
Yeah, you don't like that. You don't like to hear it at the time, but you do need to go through some good and bad, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
All right.
Uh-oh. Oh,
Going
you're
off
going for the top.
Up top. What's the best advice you've ever received? Singers are good at this one.
It was Martial Sanger,
Okay.
my voice teacher when I was a wee little kid, French baritone, and he said to me, if you're going to be a soprano in this career, you have to be the very best soprano.
That has to be the goal.
In your FOC,
Right.
in your voice type, because there's so many others that are standing behind you.
It has to be 100 to 1 your voice type to mine.
Yeah.
Not your voice type, but a lyric soprano. Not you're in a different class now, but when you're starting and they're like, she's going to be a lyric soprano.
I was a lyric soprano, absolutely. And
it's got to be 100 to 1 trying to have a career.
And so he said, find out two things. Find out what makes you special. Find out what's unique about you.
Yeah.
And be the very best at it.
Yeah, right.
And, that's what I strove for.
My advice came from Greg Henkel, who I met in this building.
I've heard this.
Yeah.
You shared this with us.
Yeah, and it's still the best advice I ever got. And we sat down one time, and he's always been a fan of mine and a friend of mine and a mentor sometimes and a bad influence other times. Like all those things that a person can be for you. He really is. And he said, you need to do this as well as you can for as long as you can.
Bingo.
This is a slow burn.
Slow burn.
CVH. Well, I mean, that's what, that's...
Well,
how
so
many
I
of
call
our
it the
friends,
tortoise and the hare.
How many of our friends did we see get let out of the gate at 22 years old, offered the world, and they just weren't ready for it. No. They weren't ready to do 12 performances of Don José in Barcelona. They weren't ready for that. No. And then all of a sudden, halfway through the third performance, they're all done. Yeah. And they think, and at that age when you're young and it's all fueled by testosterone and anger, you just go harder, go harder, go harder.
Unless that's what you want. Yeah. Unless
if you want 5 flashy years and be done, that's one thing. But I didn't go through 10 years of training to be done in 5. That was the best advice. As well as you can, as long as you can.
CVH.
Yeah.
What excites you about performing in a brand new production, and does anything terrify you? Ooh. Let's talk about this Macbeth.
I'm going to keep it to this Macbeth. I love David McVicker productions. I love them.
Let's just stop with we love David McVicker.
I love the guy, but more importantly, I love his shows. They make me feel. They make me cry. They make me exhilarated. Mm-hmm. And part of his process, which people will never see, in the rehearsal room is that he shows you every ounce of emotion that he wants. He shows you on his face. If that's crying in front of you, he'll do it. If that's screaming straight in your face, he'll do it. It's not an angry, aggressive atmosphere. It's just, this is how real this is. And when I'm in that process and you see that he's willing to do it, you go, well, clearly I can do it.
He ups the game, doesn't he?
It doesn't scare me. What it does is it releases me. It releases me to think that it's okay to go this far, where I probably wouldn't have if somebody hadn't done it at first.
But he demands it.
He absolutely
of all
demands
of his
it.
performers.
Everybody's important on that stage. And when I got chills on the second day when he had the choir, the women's chorus, sitting there, and they were doing these like huge aggressive motions. And I mean, it was like completely choreographed, and I had never seen the lyric chorus like this. Clearly they're capable of it, but they have to have that right team in front of them to get it out. And he had it out of them in an hour, or whatever that second rehearsal was. And I was like, oh, this is not just Macbeth. We're going to do a great Macbeth. This is a great Macbeth.
So what makes this Macbeth different than other Macbeths that you've done? Because you've done this.
I did a film noir version that was basically black and white, and it was a beautiful set, but it was very 1940s movie-ish production. And so with this, nothing is unmotivated. Nothing is not talked about. He's not like a subtext guy. You know, he's not like uncarving those layers like we're in graduate school or something, but he is, there's nothing you do that isn't motivated by what you're thinking, what's happened in your past, what you're currently saying, what you're anticipating. And so to that end, it's real.
And
Everything's
it's his
real.
culture. That's what I find. This is his life.
Yeah.
I mean, he's from there.
Yeah.
He knows this story inside and out.
Oh God, he does.
He knows the play, the Shakespeare play, inside and out.
Isn't it easy to trust a director when they're that prepared, when it's that part of them? I go, well, you tell me. I want your show. Tell me.
And you know, what I'm loving about this is that he doesn't take the route that everyone else takes.
Yeah. No.
And the choices he makes are really...
He sees it differently.
Yes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And it's so exciting. He doesn't take the obvious and easy route. He is taking what Shakespeare wanted.
Yeah.
And I'm loving that. He really doesn't go for the obvious. Lady Macbeth.
Yeah.
You know?
But some of it is like a Tarantino movie.
Yes.
Some of it is that psycho thriller. I mean, these moments exist. I mean, he creates tension like few.
Yeah.
He creates so much tension in the eyes of people on stage that rehearsals go by in 20 minutes for me. I've never experienced a 6-hour rehearsal day where I didn't look at the clock. I never did. And then I'm in his rehearsal and I go, we're done?
What? Oh.
It's done?
So what do you think the audience members, what should they look out for in this production?
I think the closer you can get to the stage, the best. Bring the binoculars. I think you want to see the faces.
Yeah.
The show is right here.
Yeah.
And this is a big grand opera show. We're not, we're playing to the back row, but if you want the experience, the performers are giving it right there.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Where's another? Is this one?
Not that I'm telling you.
She picked her own. How do you prepare for a role? Or in the case of what if you asked me this one?
In the case of Lady Macbeth.
In the case of Lady Macbeth, a role debut. How do you prepare? Or a role debut prepare?
Well, that's
Lady
a very
Macbeth's
good
no
question.
joke.
Lady Macbeth is no joke. You are right.
It's no joke.
It is a role debut, and it's a role that's kind of eluded me for a while because of the pandemic.
How do you find her? How do you?
Low.
But not.
Very
But okay,
low.
that's vocally. But when you have to go with a character that's this dark, that's this evil, where do you like pull that from? Ego and power driven
the
and
thirst for and the drive for power.
yeah.
Or fame or riches, that really backfires.
Yeah.
Because what's that phrase? Be careful what you wish for.
Oh yeah, my agent says it all the time.
Careful what you wish for. And that's something that's, because fame, power, money, riches, notoriety all come with
There's a price tag.
a bag, all these things that follow it right
Yeah.
behind it.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that for me is Lady Macbeth.
Yeah.
And I think that thirst for power comes from a great loss in her
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And
I have to fill this space. I have to do something with this.
right,
Yeah.
because in the play, not in the opera, but she loses a child.
Right.
And I think she has to fill that void.
Yeah.
She tries to fill that void
Uh-huh.
with her thirst for, and I don't think it's necessarily the Macbeth's thirst for it, but
She's the puppet master
convinces
here.
him, yes.
Yeah.
And this for me was really different. Lady Macbeth is vocally a step now into the more what I call the angry women, the women that who really have this dramatic tension.
Yeah.
And Tosca's kind of in the same vein, but this role is very low.
Yeah, right.
And she's really three different women in a way,
Yep.
because you have the first aria, which is almost Violetta.
Right.
The second aria, which is like Eboli. And then the third aria, which is, I don't know, kind of a little bit of
super.
Trovatore.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With ending on a high D flat. Thank you, Mr. Verdi.
Yeah.
Pianissimo. Thank you, Mr. Verdi.
Why do you think you're here?
Because nobody else
There's
wanted
only-
to do it.
There's only 3 ladies who could do this.
Everybody else like, I'm not touching it.
Let us know how it goes.
It is exciting. It's
Yeah.
thrilling. And in some ways, I'm really, really happy that the other ones didn't happen, because now I get to do my first Macbeth
With David.
with David
I
McGregor
gotcha. Yeah.
here at the Lyric,
Yeah.
which is such an important
Yeah.
opera
And with
house.
Maestro Mazzola, who
Yes.
shows you the score from first beat to the last beat. He
Okay.
shows you everything. You don't need to memorize the score. He's showing it to you,
Yep.
and it's really something.
And he knows what Verdi wanted.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Oh,
People
yeah.
come.
Yeah.
Come see the show.
Oh,
Right.
come see the show.
Mr. Van Horn. Choose one.
Ooh, this one.
Okay. And a very good question it is. How do you balance family life and your career?
It's generally misbalanced. We got a year off, right? I was home for 10 months. I got to be a dad and a husband and a family man for 10 months. I mean, that balances 20 years of being on the road, right? Doesn't it?
It's not like a family career bank that you can just put that time in.
Surely it is.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
I stay very well connected. FaceTime, phone calls, text messages. Even my son at 7 years old will now, he texts me and we send videos, and I try to stay as close to them as I can. The balance is definitely off, but I also need to pay the bills. And so that's what gets me going sometimes. I have to go, well, this is what I do. I don't know how to do anything else. I've never earned money any other way since college, you know. Since I stopped scooping ice cream in college, like that, singing is the only way I've earned money. I couldn't even begin to think.
You could sing and scoop ice cream too. So what you're saying is
It's out of balance, but we
always
make it work.
difficult.
But we make it work. No, it's a constant figuring it out. Getting home for 2 days, flying home or flying them out. The expense of bringing the family out to like.
it's a conscious effort.
Absolutely,
to
you
balance.
have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they do great. They seem to do okay. And if I sensed that it wasn't going okay, I wouldn't hesitate to make a change.
Yeah.
But so far we've done it, and it's getting easier. Even though I'm getting busier, I have the opportunity to make more choices and stay. I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to go that long. I'm not going to take this. I don't have to take everything in every place anymore, and that's making it better.
No is
Although
enough.
I'm working more than I ever have. It's just where and what.
Smarter, not harder.
In a way, yeah.
Good.
You?
Well, I'm lucky. Well,
Duncan's, I've been on the road with you for a long time.
yeah, my husband Duncan traveled. Thank you, Mr. Pandemic.
Yeah.
Travels with me.
Yeah.
So he is my right-hand man.
I haven't seen him in years. I mean, we're used to seeing him in the opera house. We're used to seeing him backstage. We miss him.
I know.
I mean,
That
we
was
like you, but we really,
unbelievable.
really like him.
I know. Everybody loves Duncan there. And it's true. It's like, Sondra, it's nice, but where's Duncan?
He could have been Duncan in the show, for God's sakes. Would he have done it?
Yeah,
I don't want to say he's the right age, but he's almost.
he could have, yeah. And his last name is Lear. I mean,
Oh, for
he
God's
should
sakes.
have been in this. Like Shakespeare, his father's email address was Shakespeare. Balancing career and life, you know, that for me is the $1 million question. It's always, I think, balance in life in general is always the question for me.
Yeah.
And finding that happy balance, it's always something that I think we all as artists strive for, because if that equilibrium gets off kilter, it shows in your
Absolutely.
career and it shows in your singing.
And you remember how unbalanced it was in the beginning. You had no choice.
No.
It was 112% into singing.
Yes.
It was the only way.
Yes.
And then we have to learn how to back that off a little bit and be like, okay, now it's just this much, and that's enough to keep a certain standard or a certain level.
But there's always something that's thrown into our lives to throw off our balance in our career and that thing. And I think being artists, we're well equipped to handle that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know what? Listen, I mean, being able to be here and do this is a great joy.
Oh, yeah.
During this pandemic.
It's a privilege.
It is a privilege, and we are very privileged people.
Yeah.
And I just hope everybody comes and sees the show.
Come and see the show.
Like, yeah.
I'll be there, even if I get walking pneumonia. No, I'm not going to do that.
No, you'll be there. You would still be there. You know, this is the role you could do. Such a joy talking.
This was fun.